Hey guys, it's April from Good Books and Good Wine doing the A to Z book survey hosted by Jamie at the Perpetual Page Turner. All these questions are taken right from her blog. I will leave the link down below in the doobly-doo. Let's get started because there are 26 questions, A to Z, 26 letters in the alphabet, right? Like, I don't know, I haven't sang the ABC song in years. Except for like when I'm alphabetizing things, like at work. Like I have to sing it in order to remember it. And now you guys are like, oh my god, this girl, how does she not know the alphabet at this point? Sorry. Okay, and I'm gonna have to, like, I'm filming this using my computer's built-in webcam, and photo booth is over here, so I keep looking off to the side where photo booth is instead of the camera. So let's see. Aha. So question number 1, A, author you've read the most books by. And for me, that would be Stephen King, clocking in at 26 books. I have been a diehard, well, not quite diehard, because he's written like 100 books, and I've only read 26 of them. So we'll just say that I have been a huge Stephen King fan ever since middle school when I was allowed to read my first Stephen King book. I went to summer school for fun because I didn't want to sit at home bored like I was a nerd. And that summer, like, I read Cujo. That was my first Stephen King book ever. It's the book about the rabid dog. I loved that book, and it just started like this lifelong affair with Stephen King's books, not the man himself, because he's old and that's gross. So yes, really, really exciting. And I love his books. B, best sequel ever. For me, that is The Bitter Kingdom by Ray Carson, because it is the end of one of my favorite series. Everything's all wrapped up. I get the kiss that I was waiting for. I love it. I love that book, and it was perfect. C, currently reading, and for me, that is This Side of Salvation by Jerry Smith Reddy. That is a book. It's a contemporary, which is surprising because I think it's her first contemporary book. Anyways, it's about this boy named David, and it like has a dual like timeline. So his parents are like a part of this group of people who want to be raptured, and their rapture is called the Rush. So anyways, David's out at a party with his girlfriend. He comes home at like 3 in the morning, worried about getting in trouble, and when he gets home, him and his sister Mara discover that their parents are missing. But you guys, it's still a contemporary book. They're not missing because of a supernatural reason. You'll have to read to find out. At least I still have to read to find out what's going on. But the internet says that this is total contempt. So I'm going to keep that in my brain. D, drink of choice while reading. For me, that's either coffee, because I'm usually reading in the morning before work, or water. Those are usually the only things that I drink, which I'm sure you guys are thinking, good books and good wine, which I should always be drinking wine while I read, but sometimes I like to be sober while I read. I guess I do actually drink wine every once in a while if I'm not on call, but this weekend I am on call, so it's coffee and water. E, e-reader or physical book. For me, it's physical books. Jamie said in her video that she forgets about books on her Kindle. I do the same thing, whereas I feel this huge sense of accomplishment when I'm reading a physical book and I finish it, because then when I finish it, I get to pick the book up, walk it downstairs to my donate bag, and get rid of it, which is really awesome. It doesn't feel as good to click delete on your Kindle as it does to walk and put a book into the bag of books to donate. Like, that feels awesome. F, fictional character you probably would have dated in high school. This one's really hard for me. Like, I can't really think of any that I would have dated or that would have fit the profile of the person that I dated in high school. So I will say, if you guys can think of a character that is extremely good looking but dumb as a box of rocks, that would be that character. So good looking but stupid. Clearly I don't date that person anymore. G, glad you gave this book a chance. For me, that would be The Hallowed Ones by Laura Bickle. And that book, it sounds so stupid at first glance. That book is about vampires and the Amish, which, what even? Like, who writes this? But it's really good. Like, I never thought a book about an Amish girl fighting vampires would be awesome. Turns out I was proved wrong. H, hidden gem book. And for me, that book would be The Art of Lainey by Paula Stokes. I do realize that quite a few book bloggers have read that book and really enjoyed it. I would like to see that book spread beyond the book blogosphere. So BookTube, you should read The Art of Lainey by Paula Stokes. I guarantee you'll really like it. It's really good. I, important moment in your reading life. For me, there have been a lot of important moments, and I've met a lot of like authors that I really, really love. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna steal Jamie's answer about discovering Goodreads. Goodreads, just like with Jamie, was that site that just got me back into reading. For me, I was a reader throughout high school, a little bit of college, but I just, towards the end of college, got this job, and at the job, I discovered Goodreads, which accompanied me through a lot of that job, which was kind of boring. So after discovering Goodreads, my reading exploded, and Goodreads then led to me starting my own website, so that's really cool. J, just finished. For me, that was Conversion by Katherine Howe. That book is about a mysterious illness that hits a group of girls at an elite prep school in Massachusetts. And parallel with that illness storyline is this girl named Ann Putnam from 1706 confessing to her role in the Salem witch trials. She was one of the girls that was like making all these accusations and acting like she was being possessed. It was alright. Not the best book I've ever read, but certainly not the worst. Sorry, I have a bang and it's driving me crazy. Hey, kinds of books you won't read. For me, that's Christian fiction. Like, I'm just not that into that. Sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive, but no. L, longest book you've read. For me, that was Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, which is the unabridged version, and it's 1,400 pages, I believe. It was really good. I really liked it, even the Waterloo parts. M, major book hangover because of Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. Since You've Been Gone was really, really good, and afterwards I was like, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to read? I still have Second Chance Summer left to read, though, so maybe I'll read that at some point soon. N, number of bookcases you own, and I have to go and count. Currently, the number of bookcases that I own are 14. Oh, one book you have read multiple times, Harry Potter, all of them. I have read them all multiple times. Probably the first book is the one that I have read the most, because back when those books were coming out, I would read them all again before the new book came out at midnight. And yes, I was one of those people that would show up at Walmart at midnight. Not in a costume, because I wasn't that weird, but I would show up at midnight and be really excited. P, preferred place to read. For me, that is the couch that you see right there. I love curling up on that couch and reading. I also like reading in bed. I am not at all an outdoor person. Although at work, I will read outside on our picnic bench at lunch. Q, quote that inspires you / gives you all the feels from a book that you've read. This is actually, I have to pull it up on my blog because it's like from one of the most recent books that I've read. Okay, so this quote is from I Killed a Mockingbird by Paul A. Campora, and this book is about, or this quote is about reading, and it really spoke to me. You might be thinking that you're already a good reader, Mr. Novak said. More than a couple of us shifted in our seats. It's not enough to know what all the words mean, he continued. A good reader starts to see what an entire book is trying to say. And then a good reader will have something to say in return. If you're reading well, he told us, you're having a conversation. I raised my hand. A conversation with you? With the characters in the book, said Mr. Nowak. With the author, with friends and fellow readers. A book connects you to the universe, like a cell phone connects you to the internet. He tapped on the side of his head. But it only works if your battery's not dead. Like, I love that quote. I love how it's all about reading and how we read books to be connected to others, to be connected to the universe, and, you know, that we have conversations about what we read. And, you know, like, I feel like my blog is like a conversation with all of you about the books that I'm into. Like, that's amazing. Same with Twitter. Like, I love that. And BookTube. Our reading regret for me, that is going to be Robin Carr's books. Like, okay, I've read like 2 of them. I keep giving them a chance because they keep coming in my mail and I keep reading them, and it's not that they're offensive or like bad or anything. It's just that they're so boring and like nothing happens and there's no action and everybody's happy and there's no tension, and every time I'm like, this book might be alright. Like, maybe I'm feeling in the mood for a small town romance. And then I read it and I'm like, God, this is so boring. But then I can't make myself DNF. So I'm trying to get better and just give those books away as soon as they come into my house. S. Series you started and need to finish. All books are out in the series. For me, that is going to be the Divergent series. I have not read Allegiant yet. I know the spoiler. I caught it on Oh No They Didn't on LiveJournal, like reading the comments on there. So I'm spoiled for that. Like, I know what's gonna happen, and I haven't read it yet because what I know about the spoiler irritates me. T, 3 of your all-time favorite books. So Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Wizards and Glass by Stephen King, and, oh God, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. And because Jamie had to cheat, I'm going to include The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss and the entire Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I love all those books. They all get included in my favorite book pile. And The Book Thief. I love that book too. There are a lot of books that are my favorites. You, Unapologetic Fangirl 4, and for me that is The Lies of Locke Lamora, the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. Like, every time I see somebody different reading it on Twitter, I immediately hop on there and I'm like, hey, so you're reading The Lies of Locke Lamora? Do you love it? Are you in love with Locke and Jean so far? Isn't it like the best book ever? And oh my god, the killer sharks. So cool, right? Right? I'm gonna sit here and watch as you read. Like, I'm really creepy and fangirly about those books. And like, I get so excited whenever somebody new is reading them. And I also noticed, like, that book, that series, I read them in January, and then slowly everybody else just started reading them. And I like to think I have something to do with that, like this unbridled enthusiasm for how awesome Scott Lynch is. V, very excited for this release more than all the others. Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. Let's be real, I can't pretend like I'm not very excited for that. Whatever, it's copying an answer. It is what it is. We're all excited for it. W, worst bookish habit. For me, that is eating very messy food as I'm reading. So like, sometimes I'll be like eating chocolate that's kind of melted and it'll melt on the book, or eating a popsicle and the part of the popsicle will fall on the book, or spaghetti where there's going to be sauce on the book. That's why I don't always give away a lot of books, because they have my food all over them. Not all the time. I'm trying to not do that as much, but hey, I get hungry when I'm reading and the food just goes all over the place. I eat like a 6-year-old. It is what it is. X marks the spot. Start at the top left of your shelf and pick the 27th book. So I'm going over to my shelf at the left, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay. X marks the spot. Start at the top left of your shelf and pick the 27th book. For me, that is Deep Down by Deborah Coates. This book came in the mail unsolicited from Tor Books. It's the second in a series. I kept it because it's a girl, her gun, and her dog. I love that. I haven't read it yet, though, because I'm the worst. why your latest book purchase. For me, that was Ruin and Rising by Lee Bardugo. That's my latest physical book purchase. As for Kindle, I don't remember, so we won't do that. Z Snatcher or Z Snatcher, the last book that kept you up way late, and for me, that would be... So my last Z Snatcher book was Take Me On by Katie McGarry. That book is the 4th in her Pushing the Limit series. It was really good. It was way better than Crash Into Me. And that book kept me up really, really late. Like, I was really into it. So, yes, that was it. And that is the A to Z survey. That was a lot of fun, except for the times when the stupid camera would not work. That made me really mad. So, yes, that. I hope that you all participate and join in. Thank you, Jamie, for hosting this really awesome tag and tagging me. As for people to tag, I will just post it right at the bottom in that description box.